Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Showtime. And today we're into episode 21 in the fifth week of the season 3 of the Diversey BW Hotelier GM Show series. It's a wonderful Thursday, a little cold in Delhi, and it's 4 p.m. 4 to 5 p.m. We lock in with some of the finest general managers of the industry in the mid-market segment. And I have a compelling show and topic today. In today's episode, we will explore the captivating world of spiritual and pilgrimage hospitality in India, a segment that continues to thrive as millions embark on sacred journeys to the cities like Amritsar, Ayodhya, Mathura and Vrindavan, Katra, Tirupati, and Haridwar. I have just returned from a life-altering trip to the Mahakumbh. And believe you me, I would encourage everybody to get there and see how it is organized, the mammoth, the gargantuan scale of the entire Mela. You know, the locals call it Mela. So you must get there and see how it's done, apart from the spiritual compliances and gains. The focus of our discussion is how hospitality at these destinations can seamlessly integrate modern comforts, operational excellence, wellness experiences, and technology-driven services while staying true to spiritual authenticity. We are privileged to have an exceptional lineup of industry leaders joining us today. Let me now introduce the speakers joining us. Moderating this insightful session is my old friend, not our first session today, a third one, Jitender Sohal. He needs no introduction. He's the Area General Manager North India for the Radisson Hotel Group and also the General Manager for the Radisson Blue Hotel and Park in Amritsar. Welcome to the show, JP.
Thank you very much, Bhuvanesh. It's an honor to be here. Looking forward to some good discussions and insightful thoughts from everybody around.
Delighted to have you lead the show and be on the platform. Thank you again, JP.
Pleasure.
Our next one is somebody who's right across down south from Tirupati, Ritesh Choudhary, who's the General Manager of the Taj Tirupati. Welcome to the show, Ritesh.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Thank you very much. You spoke about lovely Thursday afternoon, and today is a very, very special Thursday in Tirupati, where Lord gives us darshan in his Nija Rupam, means he only wears a veshti and the sacred thread, and he gives us a darshan. So thank you very much for doing this show on a Thursday.
That's an amazing bit of trivia. Thank you so much, Ritesh. Gaurav, let's get back up north. He's the General Manager of the Holiday Inn, Katra, Vaishnodevi. Welcome to the show, Gaurav.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor for me to be present onto this prestigious platform.
Pleasure is ours, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, sir.
Let's walk across to Haridwar and catch up with Vikas Nagar, who's the hotel manager for the Pilibhit House Haridwar IHCL SeleQtions. Welcome to the show, Vikas.
Namaskar, Mr. Khanna. Namaskar, everyone. It's truly an honor to be part of this show. And as rightly said, what's better than this when Mahakumbh is going on? I'm delighted to be part of the show with the distinguished panel. Thank you so much.
Last but not the least, let's walk across to Vrindavan and Mathura. Mayank Pandey joins us. He's the General Manager for the Nidhivan Sarovar Portico in Vrindavan. Welcome to the show, Mayank.
Radhe Radhe, it's a privilege to be part of this show. Let's have our insightful learning interaction.
Pleasure. Thank you for being here. Now look, each one of these gentlemen bring valuable experience in managing and leading some of the most iconic properties in this rapidly developing category. I will be hosting the session and I shall hand over the reins to the show after my first question to you, JP, with your permission.
Sure, please.
So let's begin the show and get rolling. JP, tell me, you are in Amritsar, you are where our most loved Harmandir Sahib, the Golden Temple is there, right? Um, Tell me, pilgrimage hospitality is unlike any other travel experience. With this surge of spiritual travelers, what are the top challenges in managing guest expectations, ensuring service excellence, and handling peak footfall chaos?
Yeah, okay. Thank you for that, Bhuvanesh. I think I like the word that you used, spirituality rather than religious tourism. I think that's where this entire segment is actually moving to. And with the new generation, the Gen Zs and the later ones, I think that's what they look at. It's more of spirituality than religious per se. So I like the word used by you there. So what I think I'll just give a small little brief before I come to the main question. What we have seen is that post-COVID, I think the spiritual tourism has really taken a, direction up north. It's moving very fast. And today, almost 60% of our domestic tourism actually comes from religious circuit. So that's a big thing that we need to look at. And I think it's important. It's good that we are discussing this today because I think the way this, annual compounded growth of about 10 to 12% is happening in this particular sector, which means that another 10 odd years, this is going to be a big, big, big bubble. It's going to be a big giant to deal with. So I think it's important to understand that how, as we move forward, how the hotels will have to change and how the hotels will have to look at giving decent experiences to people because the generation itself is going to change. Another 10 years, when you might have alphas coming to your hotels, that generation is going to be a different ballgame altogether. Well, coming to the challenges that are basically being felt by the people, I would try and make it as simple and for everybody to understand. I think the very first thing is ease of access is something that is very important for a traveler, that how easy to access this particular place that he or she wants to go from the hotel. What are the transportations available? What is the level of safety and security that is there? Because when you go to these places, obviously there are going to be a lot of crowds. So safety and security becomes a big challenge. Uh, how to catch hold of your drivers if you're taking an Uber or if you're taking a hotel car. What is the kind of information? Because when you come, it's not necessary that the person is coming to a spiritual place for a certain, he may be a Hindu but might be visiting a golden temple. So it's important people need to know. They generally ask you questions at the concierge about do's and don'ts. What are the things that I might do? What are the things I should not do? I think that's information that they expect from the hotels. Then any kind of specific thing. For example, if there is a Ganga Aarti happening in Varanasi, or there is a special ardas happening in a golden temple, or any other ritual or something that happens, they like to know it beforehand. And hotel should be in a kind of position to tell them as and when they need this. That's another thing. And from the hotel standpoint, I think when somebody is coming for a spiritual kind of a pilgrimage kind of a visit, then I think the hotel has to give the basic. Have to make sure that there's a high degree of sanitation and hygiene that you need to follow, which is very important. Apart from that, again, depending on the kind of clientele you have, if there's an elderly people coming in, of course, they need a lot of assistance. You need to make sure they're looked after. There are families who are coming with their grandchildren, so they should be at peace, knowing that their grandparents and mother and father are being well looked after. So I think those things are very, very important to look after. As long as we are able to handle these things, I think moving forward, we will be in a better position to manage expectation. I think it's going to actually culminate into more things as we move forward.
You've put it very succinctly, and you've set a great context to it. Taking away from my experience, having been to Prayagraj in the Mahakumbh just 2 days ago, and the numbers that I've heard and recorded, we're not talking about small numbers.
Yeah.
We're not talking about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times of Goa. Varanasi is almost doing between 80 and 20 times of what Goa attracts in a year. The flights are full, the hotel rooms are not there, the ADRs are going through the ceiling till they can go no further. And look at Mahakumbh, we're talking about the other day, there were 1.43 crore people in one single day. Right?
Exactly. Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
and look at Tirupati, look at Fateh Saab, you know, which attract so many people. So now, without much ado, JP, why don't you lead the show? Let me hand over the reins to you.
I will certainly do that. Thank you for that. Yeah,
Pleasure.
and while I'll just take it up from where you just said. I think this, having so many people, and we know that we had an episode of Stampede in Mahakumbh. We know it resulted into a lot of loss of life, and we know just the other day there was a 300-kilometer traffic jam. So I think at the end of the day, we all know the segment is booming and it's going to boom further. I think the governing bodies and the governments will also have to do a lot in terms of the infrastructure to make it convenient for people to come and fulfill this part of their need.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So moving on. So let's first go to Ritesh. Ritesh, we all know that Tirupati sees a lot of footfall. I think one of the largest footfalls do happen there, and there are a lot of pilgrims, millions of them that kind of come in there annually. So, and obviously, things are changing. Like I just mentioned about generations changing. So, what are the key differentiators that you have put in place to make sure that the experiences of the guests are par excellence, or they're elevated than what they were? Would you like to share some insights on that, please?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much for this opportunity again. And since we talk about the numbers that Tirupati witnesses, a very high number of footfall, let's talk the numbers first. On a daily basis, we are experiencing at least 80,000 to 120,000 people visiting here on daily basis. And there are special festival days when we see this number swelling up to 3 to 4 lakhs also. I mean, but this is daily. It is not a one-time occurrence, special occurrences like Mahakumbh that we are talking about. So this city is churning day on day in a very, very continuous manner from over a decade or so. And talking about numbers, we are, as it was rightly mentioned, that, at the world level or India level, at least let's talk about India level, we are expecting $60 billion economy, coming from the pilgrim, and with 10 to 12% of CAGR growth. Now, coming back to Tirupati, and especially to my hotel, we are not as lucky as Amritsar, where you have spirituality plus means you have other things to do as well. At Tirupati, mostly we are getting the pilgrim and the devotees only. And when they are coming, they come with a lot of faith, trust, belief. These are the words and these are the emotions that we have in mind. So when they come to our hotel, to our city, the first thing is to we all of us do is to embrace that faith, trust, and belief. We need to understand that how spiritually and emotionally they are charged, and understand their expectations from the hotel. In the previous discussion, we also spoke about the challenges. If all of us as a hotelier, we have worked in different hotels. If you ask me, handling a guest within a hotel, I think it's easiest at the spiritual destinations, because when they come to us, they surrender themselves to the God, and in many ways they are happy to surrender themselves to all of us, the hoteliers, as well.
So
when we are...
Yeah, sorry, please continue.
No, please, sir, say something.
So I see the basic thing that I wanted to understand is, as a Taj, as your hotel, I'm sure there are other hotels in Tirupati as well. So what is the differentiation? That if the customer is coming to you or a guest is coming to you, how would he be different in terms of experience?
So first I will talk about from IHCL or Taj Hotels point of view. We have a very, very special initiative called Soulful Abode, where we have chosen more than 50 destinations and 60 plus hotels, where we are where we have recognized that the spiritual tourism is on a high. And we have curated very special experiences over there. And now let's talk about Taj Tirupati. So here, we are talking about the sensorial experiences. We can divide it this way, that what do you see, what do you hear, how, what you taste, what you smell. When you talk about touches in the sensorial, we talk about emotional touches over there. And another way we can also talk about from arrival to departure and experiences which are there in between. So the few things which our guests really appreciate, that let's say when a guest is arriving at our hotel, we have a Purohit and Acharya, which chants the mantra and, welcome them with a Tulsi Mala and do a special prayer for them. When they enter the hotel, they are welcomed with a welcome drink, which is not a traditional mocktail or just a coconut water. We have a very special drink called Brinda, which is derived from the tirtham that gets served in our part of the country in temples. So it's a mix of tulsi, panchakarpuram, and cinnamon, cardamom, and various other things, which gives you the feel of having a tirtham. And in our hotel we also have a temple, where the puja happens every day. Even in our lobby we have our very own deity where puja happens by the Purohit and Acharyas. So that welcome drink that we serve to our guest, it first gets offered to the deity. The fruit amenity that gets served in the room, that get offered to the deity, and then it goes everywhere as a prasadam.
Understood.
So
that is more like a drink for the soul, That's more like a drink
absolutely,
for the soul.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. I think
during
that's
the stay, we take pride in what we call as a special experience, which is a spiritual walk. So you take the guest around, and since it is associated with Lord Vishnu and its incarnation, we explain about all 10 incarnation, how it happened, and what are the trivia and the stories associated with it. And what we have done, at IHCL, we have a very special ESG model called Pathya, which you must have heard about. So in order to preserve what we have in Tirupati, we have something called very special kalamkari art, which is done on a piece of cloth with natural colors. So we have depicted all 10 Dashavataram on through kalamkari art, and we take our guests there and we talk about each incarnation. So this spiritual legacy and the associated wisdom that we have, when we know about them and we pass it to them, sometimes they have heard these stories from their grandparents and the current Gen Z generation, if they have not heard about all these. So when they get to hear about these experiences and understand them in detail, it's a completely different experience that they take together.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And talking about other experiences also complement them. For example, we have a veena playing, which where we play the ragas with which we associate goddess Saraswati. In food, it's a completely different experience altogether.
I think
for want of time, we'll have to limit the responses.
Yeah, I know. I was just going to do that. So thank you very much,
3.5 minutes per response.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yes, sure. So, with that, I think, what you just said, that the experience from the time they come in till the time they go and in between everything else. So, that takes me to Gaurav, who's at Vaishnodevi. I think another place which has a different set of challenges altogether. It's a different expectation of the pilgrims when they reach Katra, since that's the place from where you're going to actually go up to the Vaishnodevi. So when we talk about your space, Gaurav, I'd just like to understand that, what are the, before the arrival and post the departure and in between, what are the kind of experiences that you are looking at providing your guests and consumers, so that, at least they are happy with the experience that we provide and they go with that little feeling of, happiness in their mind. So how do you differentiate that?
Exactly. Thank you, Mr. Sohal, for asking me this question. So Katra is not just a transit point. It's where the pilgrimage truly begins. At Holiday in Katra, we believe that the journey should be as fulfilling as the destination itself. That's why we focus on making every aspect of a pilgrim experience effortless and comforting. It's truly saying it's entire team efforts which make it possible. One of the most common concern, what we see over here is whether through direct guest interaction or even queries on social media, it's all about logistics. The biggest demand over here is for the logistics. It's helicopter booking, yatra registrations, or the best way to plan their track. To make this seamless, we guide guests on Shrine Board registrations, direct them to official booking platform, and help them navigate the process efficiently. We also offer pick and drop service to Banganga and Sanji Chat, from where the yatra actually start, ensuring they start and end their pilgrim with ease and comfort. For those arriving before their darshan or returning after a long trek, we ensure their stay is restful and convenient. Flexible check-in, luggage storage, and thoughtfully designed menu with light, nutritious meals help them, feel rejuvenate. Small but meaningful touches like warm welcome, curated in-room amenities make the difference, sir. So it's all about like personalized service at every touch point. And I can proudly say that my entire team is, devoted for the guest over here.
So anything, it's a good point because you see, everything is there in the control of Shrine Board, as I'm sure you also know that, right?
Yes.
So I'm sure, a lot of people, they want the helicopter bookings, they don't get it. There'll be a lot of frustrations, and I'm sure you must have experienced when people have come back to the hotel and they're actually talking about the frustration that they've experienced, going up to and coming back and so on and so forth. So how exactly is your teams are trying to handle that part of, although it's something that's very important to them?
Right. So many of the guests are not aware about the battery car. They only are aware about the helicopter service. So we give them second, option as well. Beside this, we do have, over here, very comfortable movement from by the ropeway from Bhavan till the Bhairo Baba. So that also we tell them about that. Till Bhavan, you can go by the horse ride or either by buggies, and from there, then you can move by the ropeways. So, we have to educate our guest about it. But yes, rightly been said, helicopter booking is very limited and, 2 months, 3 months before they have to book it. So not much can be done in that because limited seats are there. So, but then yes, what best possible we can guide to our guests, we do that.
Okay, great. Thank you for that.
Thanks,
With that, of course, like I said, the challenges do differ from a property to property, place to place, destination to destination. That takes me to Ayodhya, which has been, the talk of the world today after the opening of the Ram Mandir after almost 500 years. So, Atul, tell me something in this particular area, because I think volumes and masses are something that has been the mainstay of what happened when we had the Pran Pratishtha for that matter. So, what is it? How are you adapting or reinventing your operations to ensure that the city is able to handle, your hotel is able to handle? Because I'm sure there'll be a lot of pressure on people wanting to come in, check outs, very less time in between turning the rooms around. So, how do you really kind of adapt your operations and cater to the needs of such travelers?
So, Jai Shri Ram and Jai Shri Ram to all the panelists plus the viewers. So the challenge is there. That's absolutely agree with your point. But what we do is handling this such kind of stress or such kind of hike in the Ayodhya market. We need to be only the brand of Radisson, which is situated in the city at present. And let's sit back and think about 2022 when nobody even thought about opening a hotel in Ayodhya. And what I can show you and can present you as a surge in 2025, like 50 plus more branded hotels opening up in the city. So that's a positive surge which you can feel it. How we can develop is, so considering the people who are coming, because as my previous speaker has also mentioned, that the clientele which we comes here is more than 40 plus years old. So that sentiment is there in the city, and a lot of people who comes with a lot of sentiments in the city. So we completely focused on the welcome experiences, city tour experiences, and dining experience. However, as a found favorable experiences also. What we are doing to develop that, we are making a Telluride experience in terms of the transportations, accommodation and amenities, which we have definitely focusing. And as the footfall is increasing, that also is a key market which we are focusing on. Sweet spot on the pilgrimage is ADR and occupancy both. So both are happening in a right way. As Mr. Khanna has mentioned about the Kumbh, that a lot of people are there, same day for coming and visiting the Ayodhya. So Ayodhya itself, we are just a 80 keys hotel, and every day we have 80 rooms check in and check out. So what I personally feel is that government is also focusing on developing minimum length of stay for 2 nights. So they're developing in city which is under the radius of 50 kilometers, wherein they are developing the different parts of the Ramji. And because as it is related to the spiritual, so the people are focused only and only on the tourism part. Sustainability and respecting of the local culture is also equally important. So considering those grounds, we are managing very well in terms of once the guest checked in, we, as my other colleagues has mentioned, that they are offering some welcome drinks and all. There's a fruit called basically the fruit called you must have heard in Sri Ramcharitmanas when the Ramji went to the 14 years of basically in the forest. So what happened is that he had kandamul phal. So that kandamul phal is still we are serving in the breakfast, and which really gives a personal and very touching point for the people who are coming up. So that's how the city is growing, and infrastructure is also taking the second step. So a lot of construction is already happening in the city. Government is developing the all transport, either it is a road or a railway or air connectivity, everything is getting developed here.
Yes, I think it is important infrastructure. And like you rightly said, there are a lot of hotels in pipeline. And of course, it's only a natural thing to happen. So I think it will ease out over a period of time. So we do look forward to lots of hotels coming up and, easing out things for the travelers, making it easy for them, and even the infrastructure developing by the government in terms of transportation and ease of connectivity. So, well, that's great. And, moving on to you, Vikas, I'd just like to understand, you see, we talk about spirituality, we talk about, immersive experiences. So with your hotel, what we're trying to understand is how does Pilibhit House looks at, imbibing the luxury part into the, the religious or the spiritual experience that the guest is wanting to carry through when he comes and stays in your hotel. Obviously, the spirituality is happening outside your hotel, but how does that luxury combine, and how does it make a better experience or elevate the experience of the guest who comes and uses your hotel?
Well, Mr. Sohal, for those who have been to Pilibhit House and for those who have not seen it, let me give a little brief, So Pilibhit House, Haridwar, IHCL SeleQtions, it's epitome of hospitality, private luxury, heritage, and spirituality. We masterfully blends luxury with the spiritual emotions in many ways. For example, our heritage and architecture, we are the century-old mansion has been restored, preserving its heritage and creating an atmosphere for the timeless elegance. Our location is very unique. We are just on the river, situated, on the banks of the Ganges, with overlooking glorious Shivalik Himalayas. The hotel offers a serene and tranquil environment, perfect for spiritual reflection. A private ghat is one of our USP, which is very unique, where guests have the access for the largest private bathing ghat in the region, allowing for a personal and intimate experience with the holy river. Our infinity pool, which is temperature controlled, offers a clear view of the Ganges. When it comes to spiritual experiences, yes, we curate unique experiences with rituals that evoke the four spiritual stages of life, such as our private Ganga Aarti at our private ghat, Navgrah Puja during the stay for all our guests, which is very, very unique. Puja is being done by our priest every day in the morning time post breakfast. Astrology session by our Pandits in the evening just before the Aarti. When we talk about wellness and rejuvenation for today's travelers, we have a Jivai Spa, which has all the natural treatments, including unique healing techniques, promoting physical and spiritual well-being at our property. We have yoga sessions, where we start a morning. We take our guests for the heritage tours, nature walks, which is being guided by our guides. And we have a river view room, we call it Wild Library, where, guests can, be with the spiritual text. So hotel provides ample opportunities for reflection and introspection, about the cuisine, which is again a very, very highlight for our property. We have recently opened a Pan-Asian Mediterranean restaurant at the terrace, which again has a great view of Shivalik Himalayas. So being a vegetarian city, we have created temple cuisines, sattvic cuisines, and the whole menu is divine vegetarian, keeping in the vegetable and spiritual ethos of the Haridwar in mind. And last but not the least, our personalized service. The hotel staff is known for their warm hospitality and personalized services, ensuring a comfortable and enriching stay. And what we do, we bring Tajness to the life of all our guests every day. So, by combining all these elements, Pilibhit House provides a luxurious, yet spiritually immersive experience, allowing a guest to connect with the essence of Haridwar while, enjoying the world-class hospitality, when they come to Haridwar. So that's all I would like to talk about.
I think the biggest USP that you said is having private guards. That's because luxury has got a lot to do with ease also. People want to be not put at some kind of discomfort for, kind of standing in lines and going in crowds. Lots of people don't prefer, and hence, properties which are luxurious or which are high-end luxury properties is something that kind of comes in place. And yes, you have to provide these very specific kind of things which are actually making a lot of difference to the person, to the pilgrim. I like to use that word, not a tourist, but a pilgrim for that matter. Yes. I think, and having a private aarti, sometimes people come with certain things which are very private to them. It could be a death, or it could be a birth, or it could be something very important, and they don't want it to be public. So I think that's another thing which luxury can provide them. So good. I think that's nice.
Apologies, I'm speaking out of turn here, but I think first we need to define what luxury is. I think gone are the days when a gold-plated fitting would be called a luxurious item. I think something which is rare and something which is very, very curated and special for you is now comes across as a luxury experiences or a luxury commodity. So having a private ghat or all other amenities that each one of our colleagues have spoken in last few minutes is the luxury in true sense. So yes, I resonate what you all are speaking.
Yes. So in general, what it is basically is that anybody who goes on a pilgrimage kind of a journey, I think it's a lot of things which needs to be, his mind and soul needs to connect, and that's where the person really needs to feel. It's all about feeling. I think for him that is luxury, and yes, if it can be done in a better way, why not? That's what people will pay for. Okay, moving to you, Mayank, at Vrindavan. Vrindavan has been known for a lot of things. It's again something which has been very, very, it's been happening, and I think a lot of international footfall also happens, especially during the Holi here. That is something that we all know. So tell me something. How is it? Like I said, it's a very vibrant city. I know about it because of the Holi. That's something that I have witnessed myself. So I know how the Latmar Holi, what they call it there. And I've seen lots of people, and they are really intrigued by all the colors and bright things, and a lot of cultural in terms of music, noise, what is happening. And I think foreigners get very intrigued with that. And there are a lot of people who move during that point in time. So what are the operational challenges that you feel, your hotel faces during these peak times when there's a lot of domestic also happening, a lot of international also happening? So what are the innovations? What are the new strategies? What are the innovations that you've brought to ensure that everybody who comes and uses the Sarovar Hotel that you goes out as a happy customer with a great experience?
Radhe. Thanks for speak on this issue. The Holi in Braj is very fascinating and vibrant festival. And
you'll have to be a bit loud. Mayank, you're very low. You'll have to be loud.
Sir, I'm saying Holi in Braj is one of the most vibrant and fascinating festival. And the tourists across the world come to Braj during this time. And this event starts with Basant Panchami and continues for about 40 days here in, especially in Braj. And the major spots here during this Holi are Mathura, Vrindavan, Barsana, and Nandgaon. As Mr. Sohal said, this Latmar Holi and Laddu Holi in Barsana and Nandgaon are very famous. Plus, the Holi, Phoolon ki Holi at Sri Baki Bihari temple in Vrindavan is also very famous. So, national and international, both media covers these events with the full passion. But if we talk about the challenges here in Vrindavan, a lot of things, work have been done. And if we talk about the accessibility to the city, yes, the highway from this thing, Yamuna Expressway has been made. This Sona Gurgaon Expressway has been made. So accessibility is sorted. There are a lot of good hotels have come in the picture. Radisson and all other hotels have also come. So infrastructure-wise, the city is developing, but the major issue which is still there is the transportation. Government is working on it, and the corridor thing is under pipeline. And once this corridor will be sorted, so that transportation issue inside the city will be sorted. But here, if we talk about our hotel, we try to provide the hassle-free transportation to our guests by making a prior arrangement with the local authorities, and we educate our guests uh, by giving them the information and about the guidelines by the local administration. And we try to create the experience, the entire experience within the hotel to avoid the rush of the city. So inside the hotel, we provide the high tea sessions where we give the local snacks with the tea, coffee, and the Panditji narrates the story about the rituals and the traditions happen during the holy period here in Vrindavan and Bridge. Plus, apart from this, you might have heard about the cake mixing activities during the Christmas period. So here on the same note, we organize laddu mixing activities and the thandai making activities where guests can engage themselves and show their activity also. This is a immersive experience for the people. Plus, we also arrange the gala dinner in the evening, where the SeleQtions Radhika ji they play Holi with the guests and with the colors and the flowers. So this is something unique and colorful experience for our guests. Apart from this, we facilitate the trips to the Barsana and Nandgaon, where guests can have a different kind of experience of Holi, for which the bridge is famous for. And while checking out, we give the giveaways, the memorable giveaways to the guests, like the colors made by flowers offered to Sri Bake Bihari Ji at Bake Bihari Ji temple, and the famous pedas of Mathura. So these things we are doing, and we are trying to give the holistic experience during this period, so that guests have a memorable stay, and when they are leaving from the hotel, they will have this thing in mind that yes, they had a real experience of Holi in the Vrindavan.
Great. That's great. So thank you very much for that. And Bhuvanesh, if I may bring you in here.
We'll just take a short 30-second commercial break, JP. We're well past the halfway mark. So
Sure.
now going ahead, our responses will be within 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are back here, and we're well past the halfway stage. And let me thank Diversey for all their support. Right? Thank you, Diversey. You help us carry the message of this industry to all these stakeholders, be there wannabe hoteliers who are aspiring to get into hospitality schools, or the ones already into hospitality schools who are out looking for a career in the industry. Let me tell you all, this is the industry to be in. And if you've not opted for this selection, you must press the button now. And, this is a great career. You get to see places, you get to meet the who's who in the industry. Without much ado, JP, let me curve back to you for a second question, right? And now we're going to be a little brief. We have 20 minutes to close the show. All right. And we have 6 responses to take in. JP, tell me, you're a hotelier of great stock. And now that you've been at the helm of this hotel and much more in your portfolio, tourism is evolving with wellness becoming a part of the journey. How is your property blending traditional pilgrimage hospitality with modern wellness experiences while maintaining operational excellence. Because today, when people are coming out, they're taking a complete break from their mundane day-to-day existence. So, and they want a little more than just a spiritual satiation of what they're out to look for.
Yeah. You rightly said it there, Bhuvanesh, that, the wellness has become a very integral part of both, if I might use the word, not just spirituality, but even religious tourism. If you look at both of them, wellness is a very important part of both. Now, what's happening is, obviously, with the generations changing, I think the holistic experience of spirituality or spiritual tourism not just has one connotation of religion into it, but it has a lot of other things like, people looking for some meaningful purpose. They want to rediscover themselves. They want to reinvent themselves. In other words, they say, listen, I want to clear my head. I want to go and de-stress myself. Mindfulness, being, then also understanding other cultures, exploitation. So I think it's become an amalgamation of all these things, what I would like to put across as spiritual tourism. Now, what is it that hotels like us can do? Apart from what all the other panelists have been saying, I think there are very, very simple things that we can only help them and aid them. For example, yoga sessions is something which is very prevalent, early in the morning, by the poolside, inside, in the middle of, trees and very serene environment. That's one thing that's something that people would love, to start their day with that. Meditation is another thing that can be provided from location to location. It may not be possible everywhere, it may not be possible in city hotels, but leisure destinations, yeah, they do have meditation areas in specific. Food, of course, it becomes very integral part. Lots of people want to just be, on a vegetarian diet or maybe even a sattvic diet, or they might actually want to pick up something as, detox kind of a diet for themselves when they're doing the spiritual kind of a journey for themselves of their own rediscovery as well. So I think that is where the hotel and hotel sensitivities come in. And wellness doesn't just, all these things are a part of wellness. And then, of course, therapies. India is known for it. We know therapies from down south, and we know that there are pockets where Indian treatments are known across the world. So I think wellness centers, there's a good spa in our hotel which provides you different kinds of treatments with their own steam sessions and personal consultation in case you want to have any specific thing to be addressed when some treatment is being given to you. So shortly, if I have to put it short, I think that's what the wellness is, and that is what the hotels, my hotel is trying to provide that to the customers, to the guests.
So tell me, what percentage of your guests opt for wellness and not just a plain Jane stay?
See, I think that is again something which is coming up. The older generation doesn't, they are justly plain Jane. But the newer generation that I'm talking about people in the age group of 30, 35, 40, 45. They are the ones who opt for this kind of a thing. I think that's where they connect to it. So if I have to put a number to it, in my hotel, of course, I'm a MICE kind of a hotel. So FIT leisure is not that high. But if I have to look at FIT leisure, out of FIT leisure, about 20% will be some people who will actually opt for these kind of wellness services.
Excellent. So your show, you take it to the closure and we catch you a bit.
Thank you for that. So, circling back to you, Ritesh, we spoke about the drink for the soul when you said and the other experiences that you spoke about. I think when we are talking about it, F&B is a very integral part of this entire business. I was just mentioning a few things about that. So how do you manage the high demand of F&B services for this particular sector? It could be in your place, they might be looking at one specific South Indian cuisine or a certain area cuisine. So what are you doing about it? How are you trying to cater for that?
And first of all, I'm very, very thankful to you that you asked me this question, because this is one of the most important USP that differentiate my hotel from many other hotels in this geography and also in general. So, we have some very well curated F&B experiences, which our guests simply love. So one of the experience I would like to talk about is we call it Dashavatar Bhojanam. So we all know that there are 10 incarnations of Lord Vishnu, and it started from a mean avatar to tortoise to the boar and various others. So what we have done, we have done a very detailed research and found out that what kind of food can be associated with these gods. What we did that we found temples, where this particular incarnation is the primary deity and they get worshipped over there. And what is the kind of a prasadam that gets served over there? So that becomes one course. And in a very, very similar manner, we have 10 different courses, which includes it was spoken that how kandamul is so preferred and very most preferred item in the buffet at Ayodhya. So similarly, we have 10 such courses, which is dedicated to each incarnation, and we serve them. And it becomes part of our storytelling, and it becomes part of our experience. When the guests go back from there, they speak to their friends, family, relatives, and everybody else that, hey, when we went to Tirupati, we had a meal which was dedicated to the incarnations and the Dashavataram. Sometimes we even find that not everybody is even well aware of those Dashavataram, and by going through this experience, they get to know them in a very, very detailed manner, and our chef comes and explains them about it. So it becomes an experience. Another experience that we have, we call it Aritaku Bhojanam, where we serve food on a banana leaf. Now, we all have heard about that, how the sequencing of food happens on the banana leaf. But we also talk about the rituals that get followed, that how tip of the banana leaf should be on the left side. If you are happy with the meal, you should fold it towards yourself, towards your heart, which shows gratefulnesses and all that. And each dish has its own role to play. And when we talk about nutrition, and we talk about a soulful meal, how each ingredient has a role to play. So we explain all of that, and these kind of experiences become a great takeaway for our guests.
Yes, I think the key word here is soulful. Whatever we are doing, whether it's a food or an experience, or it is soulful. Even if the drink that you're serving,
you just tell the guest that, hey, you have to eat with your fingers. They feel so happy about it that it is inexplainable.
Great. Thank you for that. So Gaurav, tell me something. We spoke about, you were telling me about that how do you facilitate people if they want to get helicopter bookings done and they want to get certain kind of preference for older people or something of that sort. So tell me, how is technology helping? That is something which is very important, because if you look at the newer generation that's traveling, they are totally dependent on technology. So how are you leveraging on technology to ensure that your guests are being satisfied and you're able to do what is desired?
Right. So to this, Mr. Sohal, I will say that technology, when used thoughtfully, is not about making things complex. It's basically about making the guest experience smoother. So here in Holiday in Katra, we integrate it in ways that directly addresses guest needs without taking away the personal touch, which is very, very important. In a high footfall destination like ours, efficiency is key. Digital check-ins, express billing, and WhatsApp-based service requests ensure that guests spend less time waiting and more time focusing on their journey. We also provide guests with real-time information on darshan schedule, helicopter slots, which is a very much requirement of guests over here, and travel routes. So they don't have to search multiple sources for answers. Beyond that, small but impactful tech integration, mobile meal ordering, high-speed Wi-Fi, and in-room automation help. These things help guests relax before or after their pilgrimage. The goal is simple: blend efficiency with warmth, so that our guests will support it at every step of their journey.
Yeah, I think it's important. Technology is going to stay for there. It needs to make life a little easy because the new generation completely depends on that. So thank you for that. And moving to you, Atul. We did briefly speak about it, and you can elaborate a little bit on this question. That what are the challenges that are being faced in maintaining high levels of operation excellence in developing any pilgrimage destination? Because you were one of the first hotels that we opened. I know about it that we opened it very quickly. So what are the challenges of the place per se? You said, because this is something we briefly spoke. So over to you.
So Mr. Sohal, what I personally feel is the talent. Basically, in India, there is no problem to find out the resources. There are ample of manpower is available. But finding the right skills is important. So what we are doing is, as like the Radisson say, that we grow talent, talent grows us. So we are having a training sessions which we hire people from the colleges and we train them. So after training, they becomes our hands and they perform very well. The attrition also reduce and then they become something which is the way we want, because it is always said it is easy to write on a blank paper. So only the challenge which I face is in the city is the finding the right resource.
Yeah, and I
However,
think we did this because I think the government needs to put a lot of effort there. We need to develop the infrastructure to make it convenient, safe, and easy for the pilgrims to come and have the best of the experience possible.
correct.
Right. Thank you. So I'll move to Vikas. Vikas, tell me something. We did speak about food. We spoke about technology. How can we leave sustainability behind? That is something which is very important. And we know that today's traveler, if I may, the later half of millennials and the Gen Zs, they are actually very conscious about it, sustainability, eco-conscious. So the point here is that what are we trying to do? How are we promoting eco-conscious, tourism to ensure that the pilgrims are also not feeling guilty about doing certain things? That is something which is very important. So how does your property play a role in that?
So, Mr. Sohal, all our HCL properties are following our Pathya framework, sustainability. We at Pilibhit House, we also recognize the importance of eco-conscious practices, especially in a city like Haridwar, where its significant pilgrimage footprint is very, very high. So at our hotel, we are committed to sustainable luxury, ensuring that our hospitality respect both tradition and nature. A few steps, as time is less, so I would like to give few points like waste management, where we employ efficient waste segregation, recycling programs for the environmental impact. Our energy sufficient lighting, appliances, and systems to reduce its carbon footprint. We also have a practice called zero dustbin or no dustbin at our staff dining room. That is one of the best practice which we follow at Pilibhit House. Again, water conservation plans. Sustainable sourcing of local and seasonal products to support local communities and to reduce transportation emissions on the planet.
I think at the end of the day, it's important that all the telltale signs are being not only as an awareness being told to the guests, but also they have telltale signs in the hotel which tells that yes, you are an eco-friendly hotel and you are supporting sustainable practices. And I think that is something which is very important. And this also needs to go to the main places. For example, how do they carry their prasad bag? Is it a plastic bag or is it an eco-friendly bag? So on and so forth. So I think it's important that this particular thing remains as a center stage, and we all need to kind of push forward as far as this is concerned. So
one more small
sure.
and which is very good for the city is Ganga cleaning. So we do have initiatives to clean ghats, to make sure that the surroundings are clean. We place dustbins, and ensure that maintaining cleanliness of the Ganges is our prime responsibility near
Great.
Ghat to preserve heritage. So by implementing these, I think we strive to minimize its environmental impact and contribute to the sustainability of Haridwar.
Great. All right. Thank you. Mike, we are talking about various things, and F&B certainly remains, very specific, and people can have very specific needs and requests when it comes to dietary preferences. I think that is something which is, I think it's necessary. More and more people today have gluten allergies and lactose intolerance, so on and so forth. The very specific needs that they have, very specific dietary preferences, and that might change specifically when you come for a pilgrimage kind of a visit for that matter. So how do you really bring in the modernity of your business, and you're still able to bring in those special curated F&B offerings, to give that sanctified experience to your guests?
Thank you for letting me express my views on this.
Mayank, you'll have to be a little loud. We can barely hear you.
Sir, I'm saying food is the major component of hospitality industry. And see, if we want to understand about the dietary preferences of Vrindavan, we first know about the Vrindavan. The Vrindavan is a religious place full of temples and famous for the childhood activities of Shri Krishna ji. And a lot of people are coming for the Krishna ji devotees are coming to Vrindavan. Of late, this place became very popular, and the tourist mix has also got diversified. And the people from all walks of life are coming to this place. Different cultures, countries, ages. Obviously, they have different distinct dietary preferences also. Recently, this lot of youngsters are also coming to this Vrindavan, and they have completely different dietary preferences than the traditional ones. These people want to have the taste along with the sanctity of the food. So here the catering business must understand and maintain the balance between all of them. So here, if we talk about our hotel, in hotel we have a dedicated restaurant and where we serve the sattvic food. And the people who are coming to Vrindavan are mostly Vaishnav, and they like to prefer sattvic food here. And sattvic food basically made by without onion garlic. And the major criteria of sattvic food is to maintain the sanctity of the food. So,
Okay, great, great, great.
if you talk about our restaurant, Prapti is like comes from the word prap.
Mayank, we cannot hear you. Mayank, we cannot hear you.
Sir, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Now we can.
Right, sir. So I'm saying we have a dedicated restaurant in this thing hotel called Tripti, and Prapti comes from the word called prap. Prap means completely satisfy the soulful food. So here we to maintain the sanctity of the food and to give the tasty food, like we have to create prepare few ingredients in our this thing kitchen, like the sheets of the kasadia and the sauces of the oriental cuisine. So all these efforts we are making to maintain the sanctity and the not bringing down the taste of the food. The second very important thing what we face here is at during the time of fasting, the people have completely different this thing dietary preferences. So during this time, we give them the bouquet of dishes, say the vegetable sabudana pulao, kele ki sabji, etc. All these things we are providing them. So the pilgrim tourism these days is evolving, and the catering business must understand and keep the pace with them, with the new demands. And I conclude here, like the success in hospitality industry depends on how well you understand the need of your guests. Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
I think one thing which binds all of us together is the vegetarian food, and with the advent of and heightened level of this pilgrim tourism, the level of vegetarian food all across in hospitality industry and in our respective hotels and organization is touching new heights, and which is very, very heartwarming.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, true, Ritesh. I'm a vegetarian. I can relate with it. All right. Yes. So, JP, over to you.
Thank you, Bhuvanesh. I think we've had a very insightful conversation. We tried to make sense of what's going to happen, what's happening in the current.
Why don't we slip in a question or two of the quiz?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. Why
So
don't
tell me, gentlemen, I will do that.
Okay.
Right? Which Indian pilgrimage destination is famous for hosting the world's largest free kitchen, serving up to 100,000 meals daily? I want you to put your hands up. Who's going for it first? That includes you also, JP.
Okay, I can also say it.
Hum bolo, bhai, jaldi bolo.
Well, this is Amritsar, Golden Temple.
Yes, Amritsar.
Golden Temple.
No, actually, I am here to dispute that. We do that in Tirupati also. We serve more than 1 lakh meal on many days in Tirupati as well.
But for the record, the record says the Golden Temple, but we'll go with that.
So yours will be marketed after this show, Mr. Choudhary.
So, can you tell me what is the approximate number? This is 2023-24. What is the approximate number of annual visitors to Varanasi for religious and pilgrimage purposes? Hanji, batao.
Between 80 to 85 million.
Sorry?
Somewhere between 82 to 85 million.
Maybe 20 to 25 million around.
I would say, I think 30.
Around 30 it should be, yes. Somewhere around 25 million.
Unless JP wants to intervene, I'll give out the answer.
No, you go ahead, Bhuvanesh.
It's approximately 25 million visitors annually.
It's huge.
All right. Which Indian pilgrimage destination receives the highest number of devotees per year?
I think there is no prize for guessing here. I think it would be Ayodhya.
No, I think it is Tirupati.
It is.
Tirupati?
It is.
Yeah.
It's Tirupati.
It's Tirupati.
Tirupati,
Oh,
yes.
thank you. Thank you very much for correcting me. I think last year with the opening of the temple, I think there the numbers were going very high, but I'm happy to stand corrected. Tirupati.
Historically,
Om
it's
Namo
historically.
Venkateshaya.
Yeah, it is
Tell
historically.
me, which holy town along the Ganges has its hotels specifically designed with ghats facing rooms for uninterrupted views of the river and rituals?
We just spoke about it.
Which one?
There he's
I
raising his
know.
hand. Let him
So,
answer.
I know it's Banaras, but I would go for Haridwar.
It is Haridwar, actually.
It is Haridwar, yeah.
All right. So with that, we'll cap it up and I'll hand it back to JP. JP, do you want to do the summary honors?
Sure. I shall do that. Thank you so much. And gentlemen, thank you very much for your insights. And thank you very much for letting us know how things are moving. And, the future is looking bright for this particular segment. And let's hope that things keep moving up north. And we have more and more hotels that we'll be talking about in the times to come. Well, in today's conversation, we spoke, Ritesh basically spoke about, what is the kind of special sensory experiences that he's trying to give to his people. We spoke about the specific soulful drink and soulful food experiences, that we spoke about. And I think that's something which is very important from the perspective of how a guest is going to be looking at future visits to a place like Tirupati. When we spoke to Gaurav at Katra, we spoke about technology, that how technology is going to help. What is it that we can do? Because there are a lot of people who might need help to understand which slots are free for darshan or aarti or helicopter seats, so on and so forth. And how can you really help elevate this particular experience with the help of technology? When we spoke to Atul basically spoke about the advent of people that have suddenly started coming to place, and he did speak about things that will connect people to that particular place. He spoke about Kandmul, which is very historic in Ramayana, and we know that. So that one particular food being served, it literally connects people. It's like a recall that they have in mind, and that kind of plays on their experience to a very large extent for that matter. And that is something which is important. And of course, there is a lot of need for infrastructure improvement. You did speak about manpower issues that we face, and I think that's something which is nationwide today, not only you. I think we all sail in the same boat. When we spoke to Vikas about Pilibhit House, he spoke about how there are private, kind of ghats for people to take their dips, and there are aartis and pujas and their own, pandits who are doing this, which is definitely a part of an experience which is exclusive. A lot of people like to keep these things, their religious beliefs and their spiritualities, they like to keep it private. I think that is something which is very, very, well being handled at your place. And then we move on to Vikas. Vikas, we spoke about spiritual immersion, and I think you did mention that also. And when we spoke to Mayank did mention about the various festivals and other things like Laddu Holi is very important. The Latmar Holi is very important. He spoke about how are they trying to manage peak period? What is the influence of food? Like he did mention that most of the people are Vaishno, which means that they generally prefer vegetarian food, but he does have a lot of people who want to have sattvic food, which means no onion, no garlic. So somewhere, these things do help, because these are somewhere as deep-rooted traditions that people follow, whether it is coming from the generations or whether it's their own inquisitive nature through which they have kind of gathered this. So I think on a whole, we do figure out that this segment is moving forward. There is going to be a lot of technology that is going to be involved. We cannot keep ourselves away from that. The generation, which is today between the age of 25 to 45, is going to be the main travelers to this. For them, religion is not the and the only most important thing. It's a spirituality, which they are connecting with other experiences also. They're not just looking at this one part. It can be wellness, it can be culture, it can be food, it can be heritage, and it can be any other thing. For example, in Amritsar, it is not, there is food, there is spirituality, there is religion, and there is patriotism also, because of the border being with Pakistan. So there is a different Trevor there altogether. So I think it is a very holistic experience that got to be bundled together. And I think it takes a lot of attention. And I think it's something which is actually going to be one of the main backbones of tourism industry in India. So that's how I'd like to sum it, Bhuvanesh.
Thank you, JP. You know, I couldn't have asked for a better partner to anchor the show. You know, now I agree with you. Spiritual tourism more than religious tourism. You know, that's here to stay and growing across genres, across faiths, and across age groups. And with what we've seen happen after COVID, you know, sky is the limit. So I think hospitality majors, operating brands, and owners need to put their money where the mouth is and be counted, because right now, pilgrims as travelers are gasping for good hospitality space. They're not getting hotel rooms. They're paying big bucks for services which could be better, for accommodations and hotels which could be better. And that is where there is a window opportunity for good, luxurious, branded hotels from across classifications. Having said that, JP, you've been a great moderator and anchor. All marks to you. Thank you for anchoring the show.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All my friends on the show today. Thank you all. Ritesh, Gaurav, Vikas, Atul, Mayank, last but not the least, JP. And also a word of thank you to Team BW and Team BW Hotelier. They bring out shows back to back. In another 22 minutes, I'll be on with the next show. So just imagine the flip-flop and how we go from one show to the other. So with this, I shall thank Diversey with the Diversey video.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Thank you, Mr. Sohal.
You know, I've enjoyed the show and it's been fantastic having you all here. And I'm very happy I was able to do this special show, which is not region focused, but spirituality and pilgrimage focused. So, ladies and gentlemen, we do shows every Thursday and Friday, 2 shows a day, 4 shows a week, 4 to 5 p.m., 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. We've got just about another 2 weeks to go before we cap the series. So watch us live on bwhotelier.com, our social media, our YouTube. And thank you again, JP.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, bye-bye. It's been
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Thank you, Mr. JP.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna.
Thank you all.
Mr.
Thank you all.
Before we say thank you, we all had put our hotels in the background, but you remained original, and I think all of us have noticed that there are beautiful temple and the deities in the background. So thank you very much.
Talking about the Vishnu Das Avatar.
Yes.
All right.
So thank you very much for setting the context and the background in the best
Bye-bye. I have
possible
to
manner.
switch off.